back to another episode of BRG Podcast. This is the cast for January 25th, 2016. And today we've got another special guest, and you can see the way he looks. He's really one of those special kind of people. And I do actually mean special this time. Ruark88, welcome, my friend.
I tip my fedora in your direction.
That's not a fedora.
That's a fucking fedora. Look at that. It's got a fucking feather.
And
please blur those out. We're not PG-13 anymore.
Yeah, we just blew our... Wow! That's, let's see here, 40 seconds in and you already blew our rating.
You dissed my fedora! That was two, right?
Do you listen to Steampunk Giraffe by chance?
No.
You need to listen to Steampunk Giraffe. They're actually some pretty cool stuff. Anyways, welcome, man. Glad to have you on. For people who haven't met Ruark yet, he is now one of the older members of BRG. He's been around for quite a while. I actually met you back in the days of God. Don't say it. Don't say it.
It's
very unwanted.
They're not even worth it. They're not even worth it.
Those should not be named. Anyways, but yeah, so Ruark's gonna join us today, and we're gonna go through. Really looking forward to this too, because both me and Ruark work in the tech sector, and today's topic, as I said last week, is gonna be on the news in the whole decline of the PC era. We both have very similar opinions on this, so it's gonna be a little bit odd, just because I try to have some type of argumentative
you can't have positive and negative when it's fact.
Yeah, they're kind of wrong. But anyways, let's go ahead and we're just gonna dive right in to the news. Okay, so my friend, we're gonna start at the top here. Now this is kind of a continuation of what's been going down with the whole virtual VR thing. We had a big long talk about We had a big long talk about this last week with Linus from Not Quite Nerds, and it's still going on. There's actually a lot of news bites about VR still, but I unfortunately, due to internet issues, didn't have time to really talk about them too much depth or grab extra ones. So we're just going to kind of hit the highlights for this week. This one here is investors threw $686 million at virtual and augmented reality for 2015. This is really, honestly, this is just another kind of supporting the whole topic of VR as a thing. But the elements about this I found interesting more than anything else is just a breakdown of what VR is kind of what they're heading towards. So you notice in the breakdown they have here, it's kind of for what's been invested in VR and AR. This is kind of the breakdown of it. And it's interesting because my first thought always is games. Games are always the top thing for VR, right, Rue? Mm-hmm. In this case, it doesn't seem to be. Actually, it's video. Just straight up video seems to be the biggest investment for VR and AR. Games coming in second, followed very closely by situational services. So I find that kind of interesting in how things play out. But I don't know. I find this interesting. The reason why I bring this up too is because there's been topics. Extra Credit Games YouTube channel. If you haven't seen that channel before, definitely go visit it. They actually just posted a video on the topic of VR and AR, and they even said at the beginning, I really hope I'm wrong about everything, but I think there's a very difficult future for VR, and they go into some details about it. So definitely check that out. Anyways, so that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. So in other news on gaming industry, City Skylines is releasing their second expansion called Snowfall. What this expansion is going to do is it's going to add mainly a weather system and an extensive city management as a result. Now, I live in Canada, and as you can see out there, maybe on the side of my screen, there's a lot of snow out there. A lot of snow.
I see a white window. White balance for you.
That's all the snow. That's all the snow out there. Like I'm on the third floor. That's a third floor window right there. That's snow out there. Okay.
Well, I bring this up too because if you haven't played City Skylines, it is a sim like SimCity like was another one that came out a while ago. But anyways, same concept. But I bring this up specifically because the things that adds isn't just a, hey, look, it's pretty like City Nights kind of a thing, which is the last expansion they had. It's actually the fact that it actually incorporates additional things you have to do. So if you've played this game and enjoyed it, but just, you kind of get to sit up and running and you kind of grew weary of it, This is going to add something new to it, because now all of a sudden when the season comes and there's rain, there's fog, there's snow, you actually have to deal with it. You have to employ people to plow the streets, extra power to keep things heated, etc. So it's not just a visual thing, it's actually a functional thing for the game.
And for those of you who enjoy the little big-ass little pop-up Twitter notification on the top, there's new chirps. There are so many new chirps with this game now.
Everybody loves the chirps!
I don't mind the chirps so much as the size of the thing always there.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was actually one of the first mods I downloaded for that game, was to get rid of the friggin' chirps. They were key for about 5 minutes. As soon as you start getting the repeat ones again, it's just like, okay, I'm done. You know, now you're into reruns. But anyways,
you're basically like if you have a citizen who goes to the Olympics, doesn't compete, he just goes to the Olympics. But that's all the news you have for 2 months. You got to drag that out. He just goes to the Olympics to watch, and you report it on the news over and over and over again. That's what those trips are like after 5 minutes.
Fair enough. In any case, this will be coming out soon. This is, I believe, this is a free DLC, isn't it?
It's reported as free.
Yeah,
I don't know how accurate that is.
Again, so all you gotta do is just fire the old bird up and do the downloading, start playing again. I actually might get back into this. I actually wanted to do recording for this, but just because of the way my life has been, I don't have a lot of time. And those kind of games, you really kind of have to have something planned out and ready to rock. And do a little bit, cut, do a little bit, cut. And for the people who have never dealt with YouTube, and you've probably heard this mentioned on many YouTube channels, when you have games like Minecraft, whatnot, if you do a format where you're kind of doing a little bit of work to get the example and then cutting away to do the rest of it, that just incorporates a lot of extra work in post. So it's
well, the great thing about City Skylines is you can just speed up the time, and there's always something to do, for sure.
There you go. See, there you go. The secret to starting your YouTube channel has now been given away by Ruark. Anyway,
cheetah speed.
on the bright side, if you actually do want to get into doing recording on many different games, now is a good opportunity to grab some new games here over at the Humble Bundle store, or the Humble store. They have a lot of games that are discounted. Give you a quick list here. There's Rocket League for $14, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 for $45, Ark Survival Evolved is $18. City Skylines, we just talked about, is $12. So you get the $12 game and get the DLC for it. Fallout New Vegas, the by all reported accounts, the worst Fallout. Still fun, but the worst. Is $6.79. So it's good.
I wish that were Fallout 4.
And then Elder Scrolls Online is $24. So if you want to get into that, definitely pile in there. You can allocate up to 10% of your purchase to any charity of your choosing. They have a big list there of charities you can donate to. I'll have the link in the show notes for you to take a look at that. And these offers will be good through January 29th. So don't delay. Call today.
Yes, call today. But if you can't afford any of those games, VentureBeat. That's the source. Never mind. Ex-Sony online chief John Smedley has started up a what's called an RPG game. Apparently, I'm looking at the wrong topic. Yes.
Hero Song RPG.
Basically, it's top-down 2D RPG, your typical RPG game, by Pixel Mage Games. It's been in stealth mode since October, but it has developed into a prototype and is due to release in October of 2016. So possibly one of the fastest game developments ever.
Yeah, well, he's pulling over a lot of his known team. For anybody who isn't familiar with John Smedley. He was actually one of the original peeps on the original EverQuest. That was the last startup that he did, was the original EverQuest 1 game. And that was back in the days of Virant, or whatever they called themselves. And he followed that through until Sony acquired them. Then he became the CEO of Sony Online Entertainment. And he was with them for many years until they spun off SOE into Daybreak, and then shortly after he stepped down from Daybreak and started the startup. I won't lie, I'm not usually into kind of these type of pixelated 2D things normally. I don't know why, just not usually a thing for me. But I'm curious, interested about this, because as Ruark pointed out, they've got good seed money already. He's kind of testing the waters with Kickstarter just to see how things go. And this is a well-known entity, and he's been known for all his faults and perks. He's been known to do good about getting stuff out there and running things. So I'll be curious to see where it goes. So keep your eyes on that one. We'll see what happens with it. Another news, VentureBeat again is talking about Microsoft HoloLens will be totally wireless with up to 5.5 hours of battery life. Again, this is another little quick little news bite on the whole AR VR topic, and I'm curious about the HoloLens more than anything because it's one of the most notable AR systems as opposed to VR. And again, if you're not familiar with that, VR is virtual reality where your face is completely blocked and you're living through screens, as opposed to AR here, which you can see more like a pair of sunglasses in a sense, and the image is projected onto it so you can actually see both the real world as well as something projected in front of you. And Microsoft's had a few demos showing that ability with what can be done. Another little bit of news about this. This is kind of off topic about the wireless aspect. But whoop-de-doo, it's wireless, yet be. But they did make a note in here about the universal Windows 10 applications will all be compatible with the AR system. But of course, they will have to look into 3D elements if they want to take full advantage of it. But basically, anything that's in the Windows 10 store, Windows 10 App Store, can run on the AR lens. The awkward silence.
Oh, I'm up. So here's the topic I was talking about before. Black Desert Online's fantastic character creator is available as a standalone app. It's currently beta right now, announced. And basically what you can do with this is you can create some fine, sexy characters in like the highest resolution of 4K. 3D, you can add armor, you can remove all the armor if you want. You can do pretty much anything.
You really can. And we've actually had a few people in our gaming group that have already played with us a bit. And I won't say the pros or anything like that, but they can do some pretty special.
Yeah, there's Spock. I'm seeing Spock here only in his underwear. Let your imagination flow freely.
But anyways, this is actually, I definitely encourage you to go over and check out the videos. I am playing the video here so you can kind of get a feel for it. But everything you're seeing in this video is actually the game creators. This is something you could actually do. So you can go in, you can do very, very precision and detailed adjustments to the face architecture. And we're not just talking about the typical, razor lower the eyebrows or spread them apart or have them protrude a little bit. It's very, very, very unique and very detailed how you can do. You can make all kinds of really cool things. So it's kind of giving you almost a real 3D editor for like making characters for a game kind of thing, but for you to actually customize your character. I mean,
if you had a life before this, you will lose it.
It's gone.
It will go away.
It is completely gone. If you're really not into that, though, there are always plenty of other online MMOs. And speaking of which, Iron Maiden is releasing a free-to-play MMORPG. I really don't have much to say about this, other than
I think I just dropped 10 IQ points again. That is the only appropriate response.
Here's the title. My Iron Maiden is releasing a free-to-play mobile MMO.
No, wait, this is I can't even look at this directly.
The dumb is strong with this one. I mean, for all I know, it could be epic. It's one of those things like, oh, okay. I don't think
I think it's really in the same boat as what's that game? Gears of, which one has Kate Upton?
Oh,
it's basically idea. It's this terrible thing, and all their argument is we have Kate Upton, we have Kate Upton, we have Kate Upton, and it's just gonna be we have Iron Maiden, we have Iron Maiden, we have Iron Maiden. Well, this is a game. Who cares? We have Iron Maiden.
This is one of those things. There is songs from Iron Maiden I do like. I have nothing against them personally. There's music of theirs I will listen to. I'm not an Iron Maiden fan or hardcore or anything like that. But I don't think MMORPG and Iron Maiden people in the same kind of realm ever. So I'm not really sure if it's really gonna be that epic for somebody. Somebody's not gonna be like, yep. Back when I was in high school, I was all about Iron Maiden. Now I'm a programmer, and I am super stoked about seeing this game coming out for my mobile phone. I don't see that.
I fit some of those requirements. Some.
Any case, like I said,
I was in high school. Yes, I'm technically a programmer now. Beyond that, that's about it.
So this is right up your alley then. No. Okay. Well.
If you don't like things like that, a fan has remade Metal Gear Solid in Unreal 4, which I've never played Metal Gear or any of the Metal Gear series. I've actually never seen them. But judging by other games of the similar genre, this seems like an insane accomplishment. Like, just look at that footage right there. It's mighty fun.
It's actually kind of cool, and this is the reason why I put this in the lineup, and I find it really interesting, is just because we've talked about Metal Gear a little bit in the past here because of Hideo moving on from the Metal Gear series and away from Konami, and getting inducted into the Gamer Hall of Fame. But also, for those of you who don't know, if you've ever heard of Unreal, normally people hear about Unreal because of the Unreal Tournament games. Those games were never meant to be the main stake. The Unreal Tournament was never a first-person shooter gaming to compete with other games, per se. They were there to show off the Unreal Engine. And this is a big thing about nowadays. Many of the games you play, like Ark Survival, for example, is actually built on the Unreal Engine. So nowadays, programmers, gaming companies aren't building their own architecture, custom architecture for a game. They're buying this kind of architecture and then building their game from it. So to have somebody come in here independently and say, I'm going to take an old game like Metal Gear Solid and redo the level in this new engine. Yeah, hey, I
polygon editing alone, that takes months.
God. But either the person or people doing this are freaking epic in their abilities, or we've come such a long way with these engines that they've made it this, I won't say easy, but so accessible to everybody that they can actually pull this kind of stuff off. So the
thing about an engine, you need experience in the engine itself, because like I'm using the Unity engine right now just as a hobby, but I don't know anything about the engine, and I can't even make a simple cube in it. Meanwhile, there are people that can do it in 2 seconds.
Yeah. See, that is a good point though, Rue, because in this day and age, this is kind of one of the advantages about the industry is now as a person who's in like the gaming industry and the game design industry, it's easier for you to move your talents from one company to another because more often than not, they may be using the Unity engine or the Unreal engine. So you already have experience as opposed to kind of like, well, I kind of know how this works, but now I'm working in this company and they're using this code base and it's different. Now they have this whole learning curve thing. So this actually makes things a lot easier. What does that translate to you and I as a game player is potentially more games that are more polished more quickly and coming out faster. So,
and on multiple platforms as well.
Exactly. That's the other thing too is that multiple platforms is kind of a big thing, which was the original promise. If anybody forgot, that was the original promise of Xbox way back in the day. Hey, make your game for PC and easily port it over to Xbox.
And it wasn't until late 360 that actually happened.
Yeah, it took a while.
But there was still a degree of porting needed.
Well, and even to that point too, it happens now, but even to that point, the problem with that is that gaming consoles are always behind the curve in terms of power and ability. So if you make a game that can function on them, they're kind of dumbed down technically for PCs, for the level of PC gaming. So I guess, you run a lot more games on your PC then, but nevertheless. Any case, yes, I mean, that pretty much is kind of a neat thing to say on the whole gaming front and the engine front. So we did talk about the Xbox 360 and they've had some issues in the past, Rourke, haven't they?
Indeed they have, and I've heard the horror stories. I didn't really know why though until now.
They were pretty bad. I honestly had forgotten about this, and when I saw this come up, I was like, holy crap, this is still going on? And to be clear here, we're talking about the scratch disk issue from the Xbox 360. That's the last generation Xbox.
The Xbox One has been out for over a year.
Yeah.
Well over a year.
And yet this is still going on. And I don't know. You can read the article to get the full details here, but basically what it boils down to is there was a flaw with the 360 that it had a habit of scratching discs. I don't know if this is exactly how it looks. I haven't seen things that bad, but it did scratch discs enough that would damage them that you couldn't play the game. And there was lawsuit or a class action lawsuit levied on this. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. I mean, at this point, I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of over it. Anytime there's ever a class action lawsuit, I'm kind of over it. Yeah, when companies screw up, they should kind of have, the screws turned on them kind of thing. But if anybody is ever in the situation where they've had a game or two scratched because of their Xbox, this class action lawsuit is going to do you no good. By the time you fill out all the paperwork and do it all right the first time and actually get into the mix and get your money from the lawsuit when they actually win at some point here, again, years later, do you really think you're going to get all that much out of the lawsuit?
$40 game.
You might get, what, $5
really
back? I'll eat my words. I will. If the class action lawsuit closes and we're still doing this podcast and you actually get enough money back to compensate for the game or games that got destroyed, I will eat my words. I'll eat my hat. But I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't.
I kind of want to see that now. You see, I'm smart. I don't make any promises I can't keep.
Rourke has stated he'll eat his goggles as well. This is perfect. Yeah, no. See, this is perfect because you just covered your mouth with the view, so I can easily edit in you saying that. Can you please use Can you please use the words "eat" and "goggles" in a sentence so I can cut those in? Anyways,
I will eat this chip, not the goggle.
Oh, for the love of God! Hey, I actually don't hear it. I don't hear you at all.
I'm muted.
You have pranked yourself. Anyways, one last little news bit here for Rourke.
Doctor Who. Never seen it. Kind of want to.
We ain't gonna see it this year.
Yep, not till 2017 for the 10th series, which will be the last for a long time. Stephen Moffat.
Yeah, that's a funny name. Moffat, like Mo Butter.
After which he'll be handing over his duties to Broadchurch Chris Chibnall.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not real familiar with everybody in the backside, so to speak, of Doctor Who. I mean, like me, I am like most people. I really do enjoy Doctor Who. I'm a fan of okay. So the backup here, this is a problem I always have is that in the American language or the English language, we use the term fan rather loosely, and fan is supposed to be a short for fanatic. I'm not a fanatic of Doctor Who. I enjoy Doctor Who. But I don't dig into the depths. I don't know the lineage, the history, all the doctors' names by heart, etc. I just enjoy them for what they are and some of the hot sidekicks they have. I'm just saying, Amy Pond.
So you're saying you would not change the front door of your house to the entrance of a TARDIS?
No, I would not. Maybe in my bathroom.
Bigger on the inside.
Bigger on the inside. That was my nickname in college.
Now who's ruining our ratings?
Hey, that was innuendo. That's allowed. I just don't outwardly use bad words I can't use now because somebody had to go screw it up in the beginning. Anyways.
Twice.
Oh, God, was it twice? Oh, damn it. Now
yes,
I actually have to edit audio. Great. Thanks a lot, Rourke. Oh, God.
This is just YouTube. We don't have an official rating here.
You have to make it through the entire topic piece without one errant word. But first, we're going to go ahead and take a quick ad break here, guys. Today, actually, we're not going to talk about Battle Rocket. We're actually going to talk about one of our people in Battle Rocket, which is Big Damn Artist. Big Damn Artist is actually a really talented individual that does a lot of video type work, and he is actually opening up his talents to the masses. So if you're interested in getting any kind of video work done, he's more than happy to help you out. He can do things like connect typographs, intros and motion graphics, video endings, AFKs, slates. If you have like a Twitch stream, you want to have an AFK, animated AFK screen, things like that. You can actually check out Big Damn Artist. He's got some examples on his YouTube account at YouTube/Big Damn Artist. You can check out his different examples here. The one we're looking at is actually the video for his Deus Ex intro.
Deus Ex.
Yeah, Deus Ex.
Deus Ex.
You know, you're a Deus Ex, all right? But anyways, he does a phenomenal job. He also has done a lot of intros for Zero Plays, as well as Not Quite Nerds, etc. He's done a lot of work in the past from as well, so you'll see his work here and there. He's also got another channel that is his professional channel, where he shows a lot of other work he's done. So if you have any interest and do want to get some professional work done for your YouTube channel, your Twitch channel, etc., definitely go over and check him out. You can see him over at Twitter at Big Damn Artist, and of course, like I say, you can check out a lot of the examples you have over at Big Damn Artists on YouTube. So, moving right along into our main topic piece, and I'm looking forward to this because, like I said, as much as I want to be adversarial about things, I hate to say it, but me and Rourke are probably on the same page. We've actually stifled ourselves pre-show from really diving into this because we wanted to have honest and candid conversations.
I missed out on 14 hours of sleep this past week, having angry arguments with myself over it.
I missed out on 7 days of internet. Screw you.
I missed out on 14 hours of sleep. That's a whole day.
Anyways, yeah, so like I said, the topic is actually on the decline of PC sales, and oh my god, the end of the PC era, and hair on fire, people running around screaming, people jumping out of windows. It's the end of times. Rourke, our jobs as PC people are in threat.
I got my armor on.
Your fedora. All right, so where to begin with this, Rourke? Where to begin?
Well, I'm torn with mentioning this at the beginning or the end, so I'm just going to mention it at the beginning. What everyone is failing to take into account. Keep in mind, I cannot use the F word, so I'm going to find another way of ruining our ratings here. Okay.
Fraggle.
So, no words. Everyone is forgetting the fact that Microsoft shoved the Windows 10 free upgrade so deep down our throats. It was so deep throat, I can't even talk about it with this video becoming rated R. And that accounts for over 80% of Windows 10 machines, as they were all free upgrades, free downloads, zero need to change their hardware. Windows 10 is the reason PC sales have dropped.
Now, to that point, just so people understand where you're coming from, Windows 10, for better or for worse, kind of has been encouraged by Microsoft quite a bit, and I will preface it here.
I like use Internet Explorer without it telling you to upgrade.
I like Windows 10 personally. I do like Windows 10 for many reasons, and the key reason in this case and why this affects things is Windows 10, just like its predecessors, is actually built and coded a lot more efficiently than previous generations. So if you take a PC, God forbid, as far back as Vista, and you load Windows 10 onto it, it's actually going to run better than it ever has. And Rourke is telling me that he doesn't like things.
Here's the thing where it seems that only I'm the only one who's actually seen this. Windows 8 changed their entire back end to begin this higher efficiency. But what Microsoft really screwed up with this is they further changed the back end with Windows 10. They didn't fix what was broken in Windows 8. They just changed it again. So now we have the first ever in the history of Windows iteration where two OSs are severely broken in the back end.
You think so, huh?
Calling me. Yeah. Well, the thing with Windows 8 and 8.1 is any mapped drives, number one, they are always in a state of they're either mapped or not mapped. But Windows 8 has it in both. They are both mapped and unmapped. And depending on which side is which, you either can't access them or you can't remap them to fix it.
Okay.
Also with Windows 8, apparently I'm the only one who's actually seen this, a typical hard disk drive can easily support over 100 megabytes per second writing. A solid state drive can support, on average, 500 megabytes per second writing.
That's a hardware backend.
Windows 8, both versions will disregard this fact and completely freeze the system, the entire machine, as soon as it's using 10 megabytes per second, reading or writing. Apparently, I'm the only one who's seen this, but I've seen it. I have confirmed this on over 40 separate machines, all manufacturers, all form factors, towers, all-in-one, Surfaces, laptops. I have seen this all over the place.
Okay, but let's hold on a second here. If that's the case, that's your experience. That's fine. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that you live in Canada. I don't know. But no, seriously though. But you had said at the beginning of this that one of the contributing factors was the fact that Windows 10 is being pushed on everybody. So why is that
shoved down our throats?
But why is that affecting PC sales? Why do you think?
Because there is absolutely no need if you do the upgrade. For one, it's free. I think it's still free, maybe.
Oh yeah,
might still be free. Still free. So after a full year, still free. It will run on any hardware that Windows 7, Windows 8, or Windows 8.1 can run on. It will run on all of them. So if it's a free upgrade, there's precisely zero reason to actually get any new hardware. This was the advantage with PC sales with Windows 8 and previous, is you could either buy the disc to upgrade, but most people just found it easier to get a whole new machine because you got a hardware upgrade as well.
Fair enough.
But with Windows 10, there is no need for that.
In that particular case, though, it sounds like what you're saying basically is this really kind of, this is more geared towards the neophytes, the tech illiterate. I don't mean this in a bad way to anybody, but there are people who are, experts in a field or in a knowledge base, people who are novice or ignorant of the topic. And I don't say stupid, ignorant, just don't know about it. And these are the kind of people that stereotypically tend to, as their computer starts to grind to a halt because they've downloaded, 15, Internet Explorer ribbon bars for their Explorer, they open up a browser. It takes 5 hours for it to do anything. And their solution is, well, there's a new version of Windows, so I'm going to go out and buy a new Windows machine, which means new hardware along with it. As opposed to, say, I don't know, just format your computer and rebuild. But nevertheless... Oh, okay, fair enough. But like I said...
You can load a crap ton of add-ons for Internet Explorer, but an SSD will make it run a hell of a lot faster than a hard disk drive.
That I will agree with on. For anybody out there, honestly, there have been... marked points in the evolution of PCs. There were the oh my god amazing progression for performance, for ability, for whatever. SSD is one of those. If you don't have an SSD in your computer, you need to go out and say, I know they're a little more expensive than a regular hard drive, but it is impressive how much faster. One of our
my previous machine, it took over a minute and a half to fully boot up. As soon as I added an SSD, I got that down to under 10 seconds.
Yep. Yeah, actually, Turgo, one of the founders of BRG, he was dinking around. He's got a machine. I don't remember the exact stats, but it was I want to say 8 gig i7.
Fairly
system.
Average gaming rig.
Yeah, and with him specifically tweaking, trying to get everything down to the absolute minimums. A lot of the auto run or auto start disabled. He disabled the splash screen for post and all the other stuff there. He had down to just over 3 seconds. We're talking hitting the power button to login screen. 3 seconds from a shutdown, not a sleep, not a hibernate, from shutdown to login screen. Just over 3 seconds.
Pull the power cord out, plug it back in, hit the power, 3 seconds, you're up and running.
So it's amazing. It's amazing to do. That's the other thing too, is that a lot of hardware is making it more functional. PCs, no matter what you do, no matter how well you take care of them, no matter how careful you are, they're going to bloat after a while. It's building up a huge stack of cookies in your browser list. It's installing and uninstalling programs over and over again. There's a little cruft and stuff left over. Anybody who has a little bit of experience with PCs knows that in my experience, about once a year, I do a major cleaning or a format of my system. And literally, it's either I go through and uninstall things, clean things up, or I just flat out say back everything up, nuke the install, reinstall the system, and it's amazing the difference in the performance you get out of it. That's kind of a typical thing. But with all the hardware improvements nowadays, with things getting cheaper, with things like SSDs moving faster, there's just not as much of a need to physically replace that tower. And this is, I think, a big part of these, pardon me, but this is from PC World I have up right now. This is just, Aaron, this is nothing but clickbait. I gotta be honest with you. Absolute clickbait. First of all, PC shipments... There's so much wrong with this title, it's making me choke. Well,
Windows 10 is the cause.
Windows 10 is a contributing factor. Hardware being more efficient is a contributing factor. We're definitely hitting a plateau right now where the hardware is more than sufficient for what's out there. And I think the big next uptick we're going to have...
I wouldn't say more than sufficient. I'd say more that, especially with the CPU, you can't physically go any faster because of literal physics restraints. If you go any faster than about 4.9 gigahertz in a PC, the data literally cannot get from the CPU to the other side of the board fast enough for the other components on the motherboard to actually use it.
Which makes me really sad because I was kind of hoping we get to 88 gigahertz so I could watch the PC actually physically transfer to the future or the past.
Nope. Can't be done. It has to literally get so much smaller and compact in order to allow physics to actually send that data to the other side of the board fast enough.
Yeah. No, but there's a limit there, but nevertheless, it seems like things are kind of plateauing at the moment in terms of this is more than sufficient. What we have for hardware right now works plenty good enough for what's out there. And as I was going to say, the next uptick may be VR, because as we talked about last week, they're saying that right now 1% of gaming systems can run VR. So maybe that's going to be the next big deal. And that really depends on how much VR penetrates all markets, not just gaming, but functional use for other things. We'll see where that goes. The other thing about this too is that I think there's also a little bit of a lot of things. Like I said, Windows 10 is a factor. SSDs and hardware capacity is a factor. Another factor I think is the fact that there's kind of a misassociation as to what a PC is and how they're classifying a PC in these markets. Because we've gone from an era where you had a PC or a laptop. And now we've gotten into PC and a laptop and a tablet of kind of multiple variations and mobile phone, and people are kind of spreading themselves across all of those. And even to the point of you look at tablets, this is the argument points that me and Rourke have. When I think of a tablet, there's technically two different categories I see right now. One is a honest-to-God tablet. We're talking about your iPads, your Android devices, your mobile OS-based mobile devices. But then there's also something else that's in the tablet environment, which is Microsoft's Surface tablets. They're technically a tablet, granted, but they run a full-blown Windows 10 OS. So they're effectively just as good as a laptop. Even for
I can run Windows 10 on a Raspberry Pi. It doesn't mean a Raspberry Pi is a PC, though.
No, but the power that you can get in a lot of these Surface tablets is pretty impressive. And the fact that you can tear off the keyboard and use them as a tablet makes them incredibly mobile as well. These aren't rolled into
There's still the
PC
fact, though, that you don't get a dedicated graphics card. You're still running the Intel HD 4000.
Now, that I can agree with you on. And to that point, what we covered in the news, I guess it was 2 weeks ago with Tigrix, from CES, was it Alienware? No, Razer had released a gaming lightweight tablet, and it's like an Air or a thin Ultrabook itself, but then its whole idea is it actually plugs into an external box. It isn't a PC. They don't classify it as a PC. It's never going to be recorded as a PC sale. It's an external enclosure that you can plug a video card into, your dedicated hardline data into, etc., and then plug that into the laptop, and all of a sudden it's a gaming enabled system. But it's not a PC. It's an Ultrabook.
In this case, I would class that as clustering, because you are technically using two physical units as one.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. But again, this is exactly the part of the contributing factors to the whole PC sale decline is just that. We're talking about a situation where were starting to diverge what a PC was. Back in the old days of saying, hey, you have a car or you don't, it was a car. But then all of a sudden you go from having a car, you don't just say how many cars have been sold. You've got, there's SUVs, there's sedans, there's hatches, there's trucks. You start to diverse this amount. This is kind of where PCs are in that sense. Rourke does not agree with me, apparently.
You see, here's why you can't just join multiple different devices into one category, okay? Because even right now, let's look at the Surface, for example. We have your typical Surface, or tablet, which is the iPad or Android tablet. Mm-hmm. And then you have the Microsoft Surface, which is running a full-blown OS. Where you have these two different devices that are tablets, they are definitely 100% classed as tablets. Yep. Where they have different functionalities, you have to take the lower functionality. So you got your Android and your iPad, they are this low-end tablet, whereas you have the Surface that is essentially a PC. You cannot just class the Surface as part of the PC category because it is still a tablet, no matter how powerful. You got to throw that back into the tablet category.
Yep. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why we're having this problem. So like I said, long story short, it is a lot of, because of software like Windows 10, because of the hardware capacity nowadays with SSDs and so on, the hybrid capacity of devices like the Ultrabooks that have the external plugins, the tablets and their capacities and so on, you've really started to kind of say, well, PCs used to be used for this much stuff, but now a lot of those things can be used on other things, even mobile phones. Like, just if you just want to check your email, just want to browse the internet, shop on Amazon, I can easily do that on my phone. This thing is more than capable of doing it. So I don't go to my PC for it. So you're narrowing the gap of what a true tower PC is really has a function for. So yeah, I mean, if you want to get very, very, very technical on that, I guess you could say that you're right. The decline of the dedicated tower PC is definitely declining, but it's only for the fact that this is because if you look at the average growth of PCs, and then from 5 years ago versus the average growth of PCs plus laptops plus tablets plus mobile, I guess what I'm trying to get to is the general trend of technology, of interface devices from us to the internet, whether it's gaming, browsing, email, etc. I don't think it's declined. I think it's shifting markets and diversifying devices. And that's where kind of Wired comes in on this, and I have to kind of agree with them, is the death of the PC has been greatly exaggerated. And this is a really good article. I encourage you definitely check this out again. The links for this will be in the show notes. But they kind of give you a breakdown of Gartner's tracking of the decline. And this is the other thing, too, is that the way different groups have tracked this is a little bit off in how they're kind of trying to classify it. Again, it used to be very, very black and white. Either it was a tower or it was a laptop. It was very clear. Now it's gotten kind of hazy. It's a lot more gray area. And when you have gray area, it's going, here's white, here's black. Shut up, work phone. God damn it, Rourke.
Winning!
Anyways, we have a gray area. You kind of put the line wherever you want, and that can really sway numbers a whole lot. So they go into a little more detail here about manufacturers and how they break things down and giving their opinion on it. So I definitely encourage that you read into this, because this is a really good article, and I think this one's a lot closer to my view on the topic. And like for everything that me and Rourke talked about, it's definitely something I think is a little more in line with reality, as opposed to the shocking headlines that try to make you click on them to read them when they're really kind of outside the realm of reality. So
you still have to take all these articles not only with a single grain of salt, but like a whole truck full of salt.
Yeah, you really do.
They are news. Number one, they have their own agenda. Number two, they're online dedicated news. So most of their revenue is from ads. You have to be in the article for ads. Clickbait.
Yep.
And number three, title, death of the PC has not been greatly exaggerated. the article is exaggeration of an exaggerated topic. Exaggeration.
Well, like I said, in this particular case, it's funny because they say this, and like I said, but you start reading through it and you understand the numbers for it, and it's just because of the way the numbers are listed here and the way they explain it, this is exactly what we're talking about. Technically, PC sales are declining, but there's a lot of reasons for it. They talk about, the whole aspect about alternatives and so on. Anyways, that is about all the time I'm going to spend here. Again, as always, guys, we try to, hit the headlines so you know what's going on. If there's any headlines we've missed, a lot of times I'll pull extra headlines out. I'll put those in the show notes so that you guys can actually see the topics we did not put into the lineup. And of course, you can get input and thoughts and views on anything we've talked about or things we missed, and get your thing on. And we're more than happy to read the feedback. If you do happen to post, in our YouTube channel, or more preferably in our forum, we can actually pull those up and we can actually reply to those as well. Next week, we're going to have on Seshaela, one of the BRGers. Seshaela doesn't have a YouTube channel or anything like that. She's actually a music creation aficionado. I've used her music for like my retro series of YouTube channel intros and whatnot. But we're going to be going on with her. I don't necessarily know what topic we're going to be covering here just yet. I need to talk to her to figure out what we want to kind of dive into. But I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty entertaining. Ruark, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I know we had some issues with my internet and trying to line up some time here, so I appreciate you being accommodating.
And my F-bombs.
Yes.
Can't forget those.
So what's going up with you, man?
Well, I've already started my Skyrim series. It's unfortunate that we had to do this a week later because everything I wanted to just start has just started. So I started Skyrim. It's possibly one of the greatest open world RPG games ever. And I have, to this day, over 300 hours logged in, and I have never actually finished the game. So
wow,
hopefully I'm actually going to do that. Yes.
That's impressive.
Most of that was AFK work. I was cheating the game.
Not so impressive anymore. A lot less impressed all of a sudden.
Otherwise, in the coming months, I am going to be taking my old machine. You might be able to see it over there by the window full of snow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be taking it apart, and I'm going to be beginning a project I've wanted to do for a while, and I am going to be filming this, is a custom in-desk computer case.
Oh, interesting. I was actually thinking about doing that myself. I will be very curious to see what you do.
So I'm using that as a prototype because I don't want to use my working machine, but also because eventually I want to have 3 full machines. So my main one in the center of the desk, another one on the side, which would be that one, and then eventually I'll upgrade again. So another one on the other side.
Okay. Why 3 machines?
So, one, your main gaming machine, another rendering and or recording, because apparently my capture card is not rated for the way I'm using it.
Gotcha.
Who knew? And the other machine, because I do host a lot of group gaming servers, like I've hosted Terraria, Space Engineers, Don't Starve. I've hosted all these things. Mm-hmm. I could have one dedicated machine for these things. And that actually leads into the other thing that could be coming up, maybe a bit later, because no one from BRG has replied. 7 Days to Die PvP series, sort of extending on what Minecraft has done with theirs. And I think it's a really great idea, but it does require quite a bit of time dedication. So
that's a tough
unfortunately, game. Not really if you know how to play it.
Well, I don't know how to play it.
I was just playing it this morning. I got killed by a fucking tree. Oh, 3. I
lost my internet to a tree, and now it's killed you. These trees are dangerous.
Trees, stay away from the trees at all costs.
Screw shark attacks. It's the damn trees. Now, in addition to all that, you also have a new YouTube channel.
Yes, I opened up a new sort of vlog, random topic channel called Ruark Talks. If you want to go to it, you can hopefully copy a link instead of having to retype it, because YouTube does not know how to give me a custom URL so early in my career.
I'll have those in those show notes as well.
You can follow me on Twitter for that channel, @Ruark Talks, or you can use the hashtag #TalkToRuark to actually suggest a topic that I will hopefully talk about. So far, no one has suggested anything. I'm so lonely over here.
You'll get there, man. You'll get it. It's a brand new channel. The few videos out, so definitely head over there and check it out because there's a lot of interesting topics he brings up. So you want to hear him wax poetic solo, you can definitely do that. As always, you know, there's always stuff going on in our lives. Rourke is heavy on the gaming, so if you check out his gaming channel as well, he's got a lot of different gaming things going on all the time. So I definitely encourage you to check out his
I have almost 1,800 videos.
That is just disturbing.
1,800.
See, ladies, this is a man you need to check out. With goggles like
I'm
that.
a man who's dedicated to my hobbies.
There you go. So definitely, I said all of the connections to him will be in the show notes, so you can go check him out, follow him on the Twitters and other things. I myself, I don't have anything new coming up. As I promised you guys incessantly, is I will start doing gaming interviews. I actually kind of wanted to start prepping for that. However, the internet being out for a week kind of spoiled my fun and getting things rolling here. I also have a lot of things in my life that are like, you know, building a new house kind of thing. So I've been pretty busy here. So, but in any case, I'll make a solemn God honest promise to try to at least get the first one out next month here. I don't know how often they're going to be coming down the pipe. It really depends on when I have the time and when I can line up time with people like Rourke here to actually do interviews with them. But we'll get to it. In the meantime, I do have content on my gaming channel. It is starting to get a little sparse. I do know. I'm aware. I will try to get a lot of the video I have waiting in the wings edited and posted as quick as I can. At the very least, I got a lot of content from our Ball Rocket Gaming jet streams. I'll try to get that edited along with a few other things. And we'll go from there. And of course, as always, as able, I'll get some more content up on my other channel for reviews. And I most likely will be posting a soapbox about my experiences with Comcast cable service. Hashtag Comcast sucks big time.
We know.
It's horrible. I literally, guys, the precursors to see know what's going on. Internet went out on last Sunday, a week ago, and
3 support tickets. They had no idea that any of them existed.
Oh, try again.
Oh, you only reported 3. Okay.
Yeah, it went up.
See, another thing about the news, you don't report all the facts. What is the news here?
It keeps going up. Yeah, I will give you the full rundown, but literally calling them every single day. Oh yeah, I'll be out tomorrow. I call them up and they say, no, we have no record of this. So it was a horrible experience, and unfortunately, because of the way things are in America, there's no competition. I have no alternatives other than like satellite, which I can't do gaming on, or DSL, which is really, really anemic for an internet service. So it's unfortunate. It is what it is, though. So anyways, guys, like I said, next week we'll do talk with Seshi. I'm toying with the idea of talking about the complexity of games and how it seems like new games have started to become more challenging again. We've kind of come from the days of dumbed down like World of Warcraft to games that are actually taking a little bit of challenge and actually meaning something like 7 Days to Die, for example. But I'm not sure if that's going to necessarily be the case or not. I'll let you know, obviously, in the next week here. As always, if you guys want to know more about us, please feel free to stop by Ball Rocket Gaming. We do have a dedicated forum feed for all of our shows and show notes. Just due to the limitations of our wonderful forums, oftentimes I have to split the episode into one post for the topics and one post for the headlines. Just because of character limitation. Hopefully we'll get to a new website one of these days and have some better options here. But for now, you can certainly go there. You'll see there's a BRG Podcast feedback. As I said, if you want to provide feedback, input, questions, etc., please feel free to go ahead and go there and post, and we'll be more than happy to pick those up and jibber-jabber about them a bit and add them to the show. As always, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you next week.
I won't. I'll be gone.